Hey Chris, it's Brent. I just thought I'd give you a quick recording of how I actually use Rever along with my BMW Navigator. I mentioned it briefly, but I thought if you actually saw how I do it and what it does, I think you'll find it kind of interesting. So I've logged on to Rever. Now I have the Pro membership, so I think it's a few dollars a month, but it actually gives you access to these Butler motorcycle map gradings. So let's say, for example, I wanted to plot a trip out from Austin, Texas, and I wanted to go out to say Luckenbach, Texas. Okay, so if I zoom out on that, so what it's done here is it's actually plotted that map straight out. Now it's just taking me straight out in 290, which is obviously not what I would want to do. So if I now wanted to sort of plot that route, I can turn on the Butler motorcycle maps, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so you can kind of see what it does. So if I turn on G1, what it does is that it'll highlight any of the best graded roads. And if I sort of zoom out, you can see there's none where I'm going, but there are some of these amazing G1 roads, or the best motorcycle roads in the country out west. But if I now turn on G2, now it shows me the second best sort of types of roads. And if I turn on G3, then it kind of shows me the other roads that are good. So now what I can do is I can actually start plotting my route. So in this, if I was doing this for real, I'd probably end up going, so I'll just drag this, I'll get off 290 and head up, and then I might go down here, but I want to go down that road there. So what I'm doing now is just kind of finessing the map to where I want to go. So let's zoom in a bit, and I'm going to go down these. I want to go down these red roads. Okay, and let's take this little spur there. Let's go down onto these orange roads and go down here. Okay, and then that's through Blanco, and then. But anyway, you kind of get the gist. So let's say now, let's say that I wanted to go up on the orange road, down here. Okay, and so once I'm happy, there's my route that I've basically crafted using those using the Butler motorcycle maps to get the best way that I want. So now that I've got that, what I do is I hit. So it's given me some information on the left-hand side: 143 kilometers, 2 hours. So now if I say continue, I'm just going to give it a name, demo for Chris, and I'm going to save that. And while that's doing that, let me just launch the other app that I'm going to use. Okay, so that's the, okay. Right, so that's now finished. It's actually now saved that ride. Once I've saved it, then I can come in here and I can just go download GPX file. And so when I click that, I have a few options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download a track. Okay, and let's now put that in my downloads, and what I'll do is I'll just drag that out onto my desktop for now. So that's the GPX file. Okay, so here I am in Basecamp, and I've just created this empty list called Demo for Chris. That's where I'm going to build this new route. And what I can do is, the first thing I can do is I can drag in that GPX file. And when I drag that in, it essentially just loads and plots that track that I designed in Rever, and that's now in Basecamp. And that's kind of like a line that I'm going to trace, because I'm going to build a new route within here. Okay, so now that I've got the track in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a new route. And a route is really, a track is just like a tracing line. So I can follow that on my navigator, but a route, it'll actually navigate for me, which means if I miss a turn, it'll actually tell me how to correct and get back on the track. So I'm going to say create a route, and I just set the preferences. I'm using the North American maps. My activity is motorcycling. I can set the preferences, so I want to go on curvy roads. That's kind of how I'd like it to optimize. And now what I can do is I can actually start. So I'm going to zoom in on this map, and I'm going to come over, and I'm going to start. So I'm going to start my route just outside of Austin, and click there. And basically, what I'm sort of doing is now tracing that track. But the difference is I'm essentially putting a few waypoints in here to sort of guide it. But the BMW, it means that this is not like a dumb point that it's a dumb sort of tracing. It will actually now navigate me along that route, and that's the big difference. So let's continue on. Let's have a look over here. So I can just, so there, for example, you can see it's taken me the wrong way. It's probably trying to avoid freeways or something like that. So I actually come back and correct that later on. But anyway, I just wanted to sort of show you how I would actually go through and keep building this route. It doesn't take too long, but if you sometimes if you go too wide, it's kind of saying, oh, I'm going to avoid that windy, twisty road, and it'll actually take you the wrong way. Let's just finish this. Blanco. Yeah, so looking good. No, actually, it's interesting. I must have set stay off highways, so where it can, it's doing everything to avoid the highway, which is why it's kind of doing some of those weird things. I probably should turn that off. And there it is, looking back. So once I'm finished, I can see hit escape, and that's the end of my route. And then what I would do is I would kind of then just adjust some of these waypoints. So once it's done, you can then click any of these tools like here, and you can actually kind of just move the waypoints along, and it will actually adjust. Okay, so you can see there it's now corrected and gone the correct way, and likewise I can finish up down here and looking back. So that's kind of how you correct it. Once that's done, you literally plug in the navigator, and that route will then be sent to the navigator, and off you go. So a super powerful way of using all of the graded roads in Rever, which are here, to then create an amazing route and then push it out so that it just seamlessly navigates to you. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. See ya.